Brutus doesn't blink. He stands perfectly still, massive shoulders rising with each deep breath, eyes locked on something no one else sees. A boy presses his face to the glass, laughing, until the gorilla lunges. A deafening crack explodes through the zoo. Shards of reinforced safety glass burst outward, screams erupt, families scatter, children cry, and phones clatter to the concrete. Chaos reigns in front of the gorilla enclosure. One moment, it was a peaceful afternoon, sunlight streaming down, crowds admiring the majestic silverback lounging in his habitat. The next, that same gorilla is crouched low, panting hard, surrounded by fractured glass, his fists clenched and trembling. Brutus doesn't move again. His huge frame fills the broken frame of the exhibit, but there's no second charge, no attack, just silence, apart from the panic behind the railing. Zoo staff arrive in seconds, some shouting into radios, others pulling people back. Everyone step away, back up now. But Brutus remains where he is, eyes locked on a single point near the corner of the shattered wall. Visitors murmur in confusion. Why isn't he moving? Why hasn't he run? Security teams fan out, preparing tranquilizers. They've never seen Brutus act like this. He's always been calm, even docile. Yet today, something changed. Something triggered a response so violent it shattered 5 layers of safety glass. A zookeeper named Maya arrives, her hands shaking. She's seen Brutus through every phase, when he arrived 6 years ago from a failed breeding program, when he mourned silently for weeks after losing his mate. He had never done this. Never. She tries to see where he's looking. Then she sees it too. Near the far edge of the enclosure, just beneath the broken panel, is a small shape, barely visible. Maya squints. It's a handprint, tiny, pressed from the inside. Her heart stutters. Wait, what is that? She whispers aloud, stepping closer. Another staff member looks and gasps. That's a child's hand. It doesn't make sense. No one's supposed to be in there. The enclosure is secure, triple doors, coded locks, perimeter alarms, but the evidence is right there, 5 tiny fingers smudged against cracked glass. And Brutus. He hasn't taken his eyes off that exact spot, not once. Back inside the enclosure, the massive silverback slowly lowers himself to the ground. He sits, not in aggression, but in absolute stillness, like a sentinel. His breathing is deep, slow, his face solemn. He knew, even before the alarms, even before the screaming, he had seen what no one else had. The glass wasn't an act of rage. It was a warning, a cry for help. But help for who? And how had a child ended up behind the gorilla's wall? As zoo staff secure the perimeter and emergency crews arrive, one terrifying question remains. What did Brutus see that no one else did? The glass is fractured, but the mystery is even deeper. Maya paces just outside the exhibit barrier, radio pressed to her lips, eyes flicking back to Brutus. He hasn't budged. He sits like a statue, shoulders hunched, eyes still locked on that smudged handprint. Whatever he saw, it shook him, and he's guarding something. Run a head count again, she orders through the comms. Every child, every group, especially daycare tours. Security teams scramble, ushering people out, counting heads, cross-referencing rosters. No one is missing. No one on paper has been lost. But that handprint says otherwise. And Brutus? He's not moving until someone listens. Inside the observation deck, another keeper rewinds the enclosure's surveillance feed. The cameras don't cover every angle, just key points in the visitor area and some of the inner habitat. But something odd happens 20 minutes before the glass shattered. Brutus had been pacing, slow, uneasy. He kept turning toward the access panel, a part of the wall that connects to maintenance corridors behind the exhibit. Then he stopped, stared, squinted through the viewing glass like he was trying to understand what he was seeing. That's when the agitation began. He slapped the ground. beat his chest once, then charged. Maya rewatches it twice. That moment before the charge, he wasn't enraged. He was focused. She grabs a walkie and clicks to the maintenance channel. Get someone to check the rear service tunnel, now, behind the gorilla habitat. I need eyes on the utility crawlspace. 2 junior keepers race to the maintenance gate. It's supposed to be locked, but today, it's not. The latch hangs half-secured, swaying open just an inch. A sliver of sunlight filters in. Inside, it's dark. Narrow corridors run along the backside of the enclosures used for emergency exits and mechanical access. A low groan echoes down the concrete hall. Flashlights cut through the dim. Then, a gasp. Tucked beside a circuit box, barely conscious and curled up like a frightened animal, is a child. A little girl, no older than 3. She's scratched, dehydrated, and silent, but breathing. Her tiny hand rests against the interior wall, directly behind where Brutus shattered the glass. Back in the viewing area, Brutus shifts slightly, as if sensing something. A murmur runs through the team as word spreads. We found her. Oh my God, we found her. The girl is quickly lifted out, rushed to medical. Her ID bracelet is smeared, unreadable. No one knows how she got there. But as they carry her out, Brutus rises again, just slightly, his head turning to follow the sound. It was never rage, never madness. It was instinct. He saw a child in danger, and the humans didn't, so he did what no one else could. He broke the glass, not to harm, but to signal, to help. And now, the question they all whisper, some in awe, some in disbelief. How did he know? The child is safe, but no one understands how she got there, or how Brutus knew before anyone else. Maya stands beside the broken enclosure, hands on her hips, staring at the smudged glass as if it might answer her questions. Around her, the zoo buzzes with chatter. News crews are already outside. But inside, everyone's asking the same thing. How did a toddler end up behind a sealed maintenance panel? Security footage offers a clue. One of the daycare groups had stopped near the primate wing earlier that morning. The children were wriggling with energy. One staff member turned away to grab a snack from a bag. In that moment, the girl, small, quiet, curious, slipped from the group and toddled down a side hallway. A place she should have never reached. But she did. She wandered past signs, past doors, found the one the night crew had failed to secure completely, and slipped inside the utility corridor. No one noticed. Not for over an hour. She'd gotten trapped behind a rusted panel, curled into a corner where no one could see her. No one except Brutus. Maya watches the footage and presses her lips into a thin line. He was watching her the whole time. The video confirms it. Brutus had paced, turned, and stared through the glass again and again. He hadn't looked at the crowd, not once. His eyes were locked beyond them, on the wall, on the panel, on the soft cries no one else could hear. She flashes back to a day 3 years ago. Brutus had lost his only offspring, a small, bright-eyed juvenile who died suddenly during a viral outbreak. It had crushed him. After that, something in him shut down. He stopped interacting with the other gorillas. He retreated from enrichment play. But once in a while, Maya caught him sitting quietly in the corner, watching the zookeeper's children when they passed by. He had remembered. And when he saw that little girl curled up, helpless, alone, something ancient and primal stirred in him. Not rage, recognition. Maya returns to the scene. Brutus stands in the back now, arms slack, the chaos behind him finally calmed. He gazes at the spot where the child was found, quiet, still, unmoving. Zookeepers gather. One whispers, "We should have seen it. He wasn't attacking." Another replies, "He was calling us," screaming the only way he could. No one speaks after that. The child's parents are finally located, visitors who had panicked earlier, unaware she was even missing. When reunited, the girl reaches for her mother, then turns toward the enclosure. Her tiny hand waves, and Brutus, impossibly, lifts his in return. It's not just intelligence, it's empathy, awareness. Brutus chose to act. The broken glass lies scattered on the ground, a symbol of violence now transformed into something else entirely. A barrier shattered, a message delivered, a child saved, not by chance, but by the heart of a giant who refused to be ignored. Brutus doesn't bask in the attention. He doesn't seek applause or praise. After the child is taken to safety, he simply retreats to the back corner of his enclosure and lies down, chest against the ground, head resting on folded arms. His eyes remain open, watching, waiting, remembering. The zoo is in uproar. Reporters camp outside the gates. Commentators debate animal intelligence on national television. Social media explodes with footage of the moment the glass shattered. "Hero gorilla," one headline reads. "Beast or guardian?" asks another. But inside the zoo, where it all happened, the energy is quieter, more reverent. Maya walks along the enclosure's outer path. She stops where the cracked glass has been temporarily replaced with reinforced panels. She glances down at a stuffed animal someone left at the scene, a child's toy cradled in tissue paper. Taped to the glass is a note in crayon. "Thank you, big gorilla." She smiles, but her heart feels heavy. Later, while reviewing Brutus's medical logs, she finds something she forgot. After his mate passed, Brutus stopped eating for days. When keepers placed a small blanket, the one his offspring used to sleep in, inside the night den, he carried it for a week, cradling it like something fragile. He didn't roar, he didn't lash out, he just mourned in silence. That silence returned today. Brutus didn't act from instinct alone. He acted from memory, from grief, from recognition of a child in pain. As the girl recovers in the zoo's infirmary, her parents visit the enclosure once more. Her mother holds her tightly, arms around her waist, as the child stares at the gorilla curled in the shade. "That's him," the little girl whispers. "That's the one who saw me." Brutus doesn't move, but he lifts his head slightly, just enough to meet her gaze. Later that evening, after the crowds have cleared and the exhibits close, Maya lingers behind. She walks to the edge of the enclosure with a fruit basket in hand, Brutus's favorites, mango, papaya, and a small cloth blanket folded carefully on top. Brutus approaches, slowly, cautiously, not like a creature looking for food, but like a guardian checking for danger that has passed. She lowers the basket gently inside. He doesn't touch the fruit, but his fingers brush the blanket. He stares at it, and then, unbelievably, Brutus sits upright, towering, and places the blanket in his lap. He stares into the trees beyond the enclosure, lost in a place only he knows. Maya doesn't speak. She just watches. The wind picks up, rustling the leaves. He had broken through glass. But the real fracture was deeper, a crack in the boundary humans drew between us and them. Brutus didn't just save a child. He reminded the world that compassion doesn't belong to one species. It's something we all carry, even behind bars. By morning, the zoo is overwhelmed. News vans stretch down the block. Reporters jostle for interviews. Millions have seen the footage, the charge, the glass, the stillness after impact. But what no one can explain is why it happened. And then the story breaks. A leaked internal memo confirms it wasn't an attack. It was a response to a child trapped behind the wall. The public gasps. A gorilla noticed what no human did and acted. Experts debate what it means. Is it intuition, memory, emotion? But the truth spreads faster than the science. People don't just see a gorilla anymore. They see Brutus, a soul behind those eyes, not just a creature of strength. In schools and living rooms around the world, parents show their children the video. "See?" they whisper. Even the big ones can be gentle. Comments flood the zoo's page. Thousands of letters arrive, some from kids who say they were scared of gorillas. But not anymore. The zoo's board holds an emergency meeting. The initial plan was to isolate Brutus, standard procedure after any aggressive incident. But Maya fights back. "He saved a life," she says. "He didn't hurt anyone. He warned us." The room falls silent. No one argues. Instead, they make a new decision. They'll build a new enclosure, larger, safer, more natural. Not as punishment, but as recognition. A mural will be added outside, not of Brutus roaring or pounding his chest, but of him sitting in silence, hand on the glass, watching, guarding. A week later, the little girl and her parents return. This time, there's no crowd, no shattered glass. Just a peaceful afternoon and a reinforced wall. She walks slowly to the exhibit, holding her mom's hand, a flower crown on her head. Brutus watches from the hill above. As she presses her palm to the glass, he rises, he approaches, and once again they touch. Her small hand on the outside, his massive one on the inside, a mirror of that first moment. But now, the world knows what it means. Maya watches from a distance, heart full. Later she finds Brutus alone, lounging in the afternoon light. She speaks softly, though she knows he won't answer. "You didn't just save her," she whispers. "You changed us." The sun dips lower. Online, a video of the reunion goes viral. This time, no one screams. They watch, in awe, in wonder, in gratitude. Teachers use it to teach empathy. Animal rights groups cite it in their campaigns. Parents talk about instinct, compassion, and the strength to protect even when misunderstood. And Brutus? He doesn't seem to care for the fame. He never did it for applause. He saw a child in danger, and he acted. Not because he was wild, but because he remembered what it was like to lose someone, and wasn't going to let it happen again. What Brutus did wasn't just heroic, it was human. He didn't roar for attention. He didn't act from fear. He acted from something deeper, something we all understand, the instinct to protect the innocent. This story reminds us that love, grief, and empathy aren't just human emotions. They're universal, and sometimes the heroes we fear the most are the ones who understand us best. If this story moved you, please leave a comment below. Let us know. Do you believe animals feel the way we do? And if you want more powerful real-life stories of animal courage and compassion, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you never miss what comes next.